What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to the OCG Metagame Breakdown number 9 and 10 right before the ban list. So moving forward, we will have the new ban list which actually banned Verte, even though honestly it's not that impactful because branded Despia barely plays Verte. I mean, it plays it, but it can easily live without it. And the adventure package, the Brave token engine, is basically dead now. So this is going to be the last season or format before that. And it is 100 top performing decks, so a pretty huge sample size. 19 tournaments that were held during the span of, what, like 2 weeks or something? Pretty interesting. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. Check me out on Twitch and Instagram. And now let's jump right into the beautiful, gorgeous, juicy-ass pizza. A lot of slices. Do we like that or do we not like that? Do we like it when others is just as big as the best deck? I mean, that's extremely subjective and there's no, like, definite answer, so I'll let you guys debate on that. But the number one best deck is branded Despia, but not by a landslide. 20% first place and then 8% second and third place with like 7% right after is honestly not that bad. Like when we had Phantom Knight full power in the OCG, it was complete bullshit. It was like 32% and the other decks were like absolute garbage in front, like compared to Phantom Knight. So I guess this is probably as fair as it gets for the OCG when the best deck isn't even that much better than the others. It is crazy because there was a point where branded Despia was like 32% as well. It's just like getting worse and worse and worse, and the other decks are kind of getting better and better in a way. But yeah, so the main build of Despia is playing Brave token. If you haven't watched my article video with Shunsuke, by the way, please make sure you do. It's such a good one, man. Shunsuke did such a fantastic job writing a very detailed article on why he believes that Brave token has to be played in branded Despia. Even though there are some clashes, like you can't really go normal summon Aluber to search because that is the drawback of the Brave token, but he said that it still fixes so many inherent issues that the deck has, such as being able to negate Ash on your branded fusion, and also having plays through Dimensional Barrier, because if you're playing Pure and you get hit by D-Barrier on fusions, you're probably gonna cry. Whereas if you're playing with the Brave token, you still kind of do some, you still play a little bit because you can bounce a card with the equip spell and you still have an Omni Negate with the Griffin Rider. So more plays, way better like that. But yeah, anyways, 4 of them are playing just branded Despia, and 2 of them are playing Frightfur branded Despia. Very interesting, and we will see that in the TCG 100% guaranteed, hands down. A lot of people are big fans of Fluffle and Frightfur, but Fluffle, I think, Frightfur Patchwork? Is that a Frightfur or Fluffle card? Whatever, that card is the crack, and you can do a lot of other stuff with the Frightfur stuff, so yeah, pretty cool engine. And that one is Brave token Shaddoll branded Despia, so basically the same as this one, but with Shaddoll cards on top. That is also a good option. I mean, you can literally play just 1 or 2 Shaddoll monsters, just so you have access to Winda with your fusion monsters. Either way, this is the best deck, but it still has some consistency issues and being able to like just not really capitalize off of drawing like multiple copies of the same card, whatever. But yeah, sometimes the deck can break, but it's still very good, and branded fusion is the crack. Anyways, the second best deck is a deck that we have a TCG equivalent of, but it doesn't really play the same way, and that would be the based deck. So it is the Rose Dragon kind of artifact Scythe Turbo with Phoenix Enforcer and other stuff. And also it gets to play with like Fairy Tale Snow, the Magician Souls, Brave token, etc. So yeah, just plays a lot, and also the Tenyi monsters, but whatever. The Tenyis in that build aren't even like that important. Be a level 7 that can also bounce a card with like Vishuda is very good, but Ashuna is not like that unfair. Floowandereeze, this is a deck that kind of disappointed me a little bit in the TCG. I was really expecting it to be so much better, but there are a few issues with Floowandereeze and the TCG, and the reason why they're so good in the OCG is that they get to play Max C and don't lose to Max C, whereas in the TCG they do not have that advantage, so they kind of have to play a very old style of Yu-Gi-Oh! Of just being able to normal and tribute summon, which is like very like linear. It's always the same thing, right? But they don't really get to have like that unfair win button. They still have Dimensional Shifter, which is really good. It's the best hand trap in the game if your deck can play it. But if you can't, well, yeah, the D-Shifter also has the issue of you can't use it like in the grind game because you already have cards in the grave, etc. But yeah, Floowandereeze can banish cards from the grave. It can do some nice stuff. It's still a deck that probably destroys you if it gets to summon the Windbear statue and set up the Rise on the opponent's turn. So very powerful deck, but has a lot of flaws. Alright, so Drytron, I actually thought it would be dead after the most recent TCG ban list, probably banning the Ava, but it managed to survive, so people have adapted to a Megalith version. Very small engine where they play, I think, 2 Foal, 1 Bathor, and 1... is it Haggith or Ophiel? I forgot, but the one that searches a monster. So they get to Ritual Summon the Bathor on the opponent's turn, pop multiple cards. Pretty nice, actually. It's a very good engine. And they also get to abuse Phoenix Enforcer with Artifact Scythe, which is absolute bullshit. I cannot wait, honestly, to either see Dagda or Scythe getting banned. As long as it's one of the two, I honestly don't care that much. BS in the TCG and still BS in the OCG. I mean, if you are playing on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, you would know how unenjoyable Drytron is to play against. And if you don't have Maxi, or if you do have Maxi but it gets negated, you usually rage quit because it's really hard to break the full board of like multiple negates. After that, we have Tri-Brigade. Yeah, I mean, this deck, I don't understand why it's back. 5 branded Tri-Brigade. What the frick is this, man? People will never give up on this deck. It's actually getting kind of annoying, but whatever. I mean, even in the TCG, unfortunately, we can see more people probably playing Tri-Brigade in the future in case the other decks get hit and Tri-Brigade is just untouched. I mean, think about it. The last ban list that we had didn't really touch Tri-Brigade much, but rather touch the Lyrilusk engine because that was making the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk deck way too good, and not necessarily the Tri-Brigade cards, because the first time that we saw Tri-Brigade being very, very good, it was Revolt Turbo. It was literally triple Revolt, and if you don't draw Revolt or get to search Revolt with the Bear Broom, you don't do jack shit, and the deck just sucks. It really does suck, honestly, without Revolt. But yeah, I mean, when you have a package, another engine, again, that you can splash in freaking everything, whatever. Anyways, after that, we have Brave Frankids. In the TCG, that deck is so much better, but in the OCG, for some reason, it's just down there. I don't really understand why. Branded Predaplant. Okay, this deck is also extremely good. It will most likely be tier 1.5-ish. I hate numbers. Well, tier numbers, I think they're stupid, but this deck is ridiculously powerful. The Predaplant cards are extremely insane, and believe me, you get to play through handshafts with that deck. So definitely do not sleep on the Predaplant cards. It's not like back in the days where it was just like Scorpio into Cobra, Surge, Brilliant Fusion, blah, blah, blah. No, trust me. Now it's actually terrifying. Anyways, now we have Eldritch, which is also going to be probably a little better in the TCG. Honestly, as long as the combo decks are overshadowing the other control decks, the combo decks are always going to get hit by every single ban list, but the control decks will always survive again and again and again, because even though they're like very good, they're not like bullshit unfair very good. They just make like people angry because they sack with like floodgates and your opponent can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff like that. That's like the bad image that people have of the trap decks like Eldritch. But at the end of the day, it's still a deck that gets to play with its engine. That is very, very good engine on its own, because it's the kind of deck where you can get hit by Lightning Storm, Harvey's Feather Duster, and you can still set a lot of cards on the end phase, and you get to recycle, like, literally everything. So it's just a good deck by design, honestly. And then Punk Therions, I'm also very shocked to see this. And another thing that I'm shocked to see is the fact that Therions is not up here or something. I was really expecting that engine to be so much better, and it really is good. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, people didn't really want to play it here. Maybe the ban list is going to change things up. Maybe people will stop playing Brave Token that much, and maybe start playing Therions a little bit more. Anyways, Adagnister, alright. That is a very good deck, but I don't think it should be at 4 in here. Adamantipator, that is also a very good deck with Block Dragon, but it does lose to Maxi. Sky Striker, yeah, Therion Sky Striker is very good, but I actually think it should be the other way around, 2 with Therions and only 1 that is pure, because Therions is just a gigantic boost. It fixes so many of the issues. But again, if you don't draw Ray or Rose, you still lose, so it's like back to square one with the exact same problem. Just consistency is a bitch when we are talking about Sky Striker. Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk, whatever, I mean, it loses to Maxi. Brave Token Virtual World, it's gonna die very soon, so don't even worry about it. Dinomorphia. Okay, a lot of people ask me, Yasin, what do you think about Dinomorphia? Do you think they're going to be very good in the future? I think it's that kind of deck that is just the weaker version of Eldritch. Like, as long as Eldritch exists, you shouldn't be considering playing Dinomorphia. But if people are like, they forgot completely everything about Dinomorphia, you can catch people off guard in a regional for sure and probably win a full regional and maybe top a YCS. But I don't see how you win a YCS, because in Top Cut, people start knowing what your deck does, and they will just like, you know, read all the cards, and it'll no longer really have that surprise aspect, and that's the reason why I don't think Dinomorphia is that great for a YCS win. It also retains all the weaknesses for like from the trap decks when they go second. Like, you have a bunch of traps and you still have to break a board. You kill yourself paying 4,000 and then 2,000, 1,000 life points. So you're always like one attack close to dying, and that's, I don't know, it's a high risk, high reward. Literally, that's like the best way to put Dinomorphia. Anyways, Marincess, yeah, with the break token it's pretty good, but it's gonna die. Orchist, whatever, I'm not even gonna bother. Shadal, Tenyi Sword Soul, Brave, Theron's ABC. This deck should be much better. I think it's really, really, really good. It is probably the best ABC has ever been in its entire life. DDD, again, I'm really shocked to see it only one representation in the OCG. I don't know how hard the deck loses to Maxi, probably a lot, honestly, but DDD is still a very, very, very strong deck. In the DCG, if you're a very good player, you're going to go very far, and that's the reason why we saw Pac go to top 8 in the most recent Remote Duel YCS, because he knows his stuff, he practices a lot, and he played DDD to absolute perfection. Endymion, Magician, Salamangreat, Sekka, Danger, Kaiju Luna, my favorite deck here, Spiral, Sanavalon, ooh, shoutouts to Jordan, and Zephyra. Alright, now let's jump into the text. Okay, so Summon Limit is actually a very good floodgate, and this player, Gude Pokyo... I'm no longer going to try pronouncing names, I'm just ass. He decided to play Summon Limit because it not only works against combo decks like, of course, or mid-range decks rather, like branded Despia, but on top of that, even the mid-rangey decks that don't necessarily special summon like Floowandereeze will still lose the Summon Limit. So Vanity's Emptiness against Floowandereeze makes you look like a moron because it actually hurts you, but it never hurts the opponent, never ever. So it's like an instant side out, but Summon Limit is actually the absolute stones against Floowandereeze. Like, you win on the spot because your opponent goes normal summon effect, attempt to tribute summon, no, chain, Summon Limit. You cannot do anything at all, and then next turn you basically just have game. So yeah, very, very terrifying floodgate, and a lot of people will have nightmares playing against Summon Limit going second. I actually think this card should get banned. Honestly, I think it's just absolute cancer, but whatever. For the main deck, there is almost nothing here. Proud of Prosperity is going to jump to 2, and then, like I said, Aquamancer and Rite of Aramesia are going to both go to 1. Branded in red, back to being a 3 of. Very interesting, it used to be a 2 of, but I can see why. Branded Exile only being a 1 of in the side deck. Unfortunately, would have been cool to see it in the main deck, but I can understand. And I think every single branded Despia player agrees on the fusion monsters. So it's always 2 Mirror Jade, 2 Lubellion, 2 Albion, 1 Titanic Clad, 2 Masquerade, 1 What the Frick, 1 Dragos Tapelia, 1 Guardian Chimera, and then Link Spider, Relinquished Anima, and press F in the chat. So for the side deck cards, I guess Token Collector is probably just no longer going to be relevant because the Brave token is going to suck very soon. Alright, Brave Tenyi, again, this is very confusing. Look at the amount of ban cards, okay? Let's count. Archnemesis Protos, that is 1, and then Olion 2, Jet Synchron 3, Maxi 4. We're on a streak, boys. Yes, okay, that's it. 9 Pillar, freaking Danglong 5, Galaxy Tomahawk 6, and future Banlist cards in the form of Needle Fiber and or Radon. Yes, okay, so forget about this. just look at a based deck profile on YouTube and you'll be good. But basically, this deck is very overpowered, and it makes a lot of negates. Galaxy Tomahawk summoning 5 motherfucking tokens, and then going into Oradon. And it's easy to summon Galaxy Tomahawk, like either Griffin Rider or Illusion Light, Illegal Knight with a Tenyi gets you there. And then you get to make Danglong, search 9 pillars, cuck your opponent, and it's a Happy Land City, but only for you and not for your opponent. Alright, Floowandereeze now. Again, the engine of Floowandereeze is the exact same for everyone. The only thing that changes is whether I want to play 1 Ryza with 1 Apex Avion, or 2 Ryza with no Apex Evian. I think 3 Tribute Summon is probably perfect. People don't really want to go to like 4 normal summons, that would be way too much. And then the Windbearer statue is always there. DD Crow sometimes is here, sometimes it's not. And then it's always 3 Rabina, 3 Eaglin, 2 Ostrich, and 1 Toucan. This is absolute perfect. And then Shifter, Maxi, Ash. Veiler sometimes is there, sometimes it's not. Imperm, you can draw it for turn, or you can excavate it off of Prosperity and Duality, and that's the reason why Imperm is so ridiculously good. I would still play Book of Moon in this deck, in the TCG, but obviously not in the OCG. The reason for that is because you can't play Maxi, so you have to like replace it with a card that allows you to push a little more. And Call by the Grave is not the best here because your opponent's hand traps will get banished under your shifters, so you can't really like banish them from the graveyard. So that's the reason why Call by the Grave is not being played in this Floowandereeze list. And yeah, very relevant extra deck. We're definitely going to go very in-depth in there. No, and then yeah, one Apex Avian in the side makes sense because people are going to be siding in evenly matched, so you want like an actual Omni Negate or other annoying stuff. Token Collector, but only one, so people have dropped the rank 4 package. Double Joel, DD Crow. Okay, so this DD Crow is not random. You can actually search it. And then Twin, Call by the Grave, Dark Ruler only at 1. What the frick? I guess the thing about Dark Ruler is that if you activate like Duality and your opponent doesn't negate, and you activate Dark Ruler, you win the game. So that's, I guess, one of the advantage that these decks with Pot of Duality and Prosperity have, is that your opponent is like in absolute, like the shittiest position when he doesn't negate one of these excavating cards, and like your last card is Dark Ruler. So it's kind of fine to play cards as one-ofs, because even as one-ofs, you might see them like 3 times more often just because of the pots. And the Harpy's Featherstorm, if you see this card going first, you win the game. It's basically back to like Leerless Tri-Brigade full power. So yeah, in conclusion, Branded Despia is still the best deck, but the other decks, I don't know, they're like second spot. But the thing is, they're kind of losing their traction because Drytron and Tri-Brigade are like catching up, especially Tri-Brigade. I'm shocked to see them that good. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say and showcase in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.